Howdy, this is Lemmy with RevZilla TV, here to talk to you today about Legend Suspension's Aero line. A Legends Aero kit is going to be the kit for you if you want the king of the heap in terms of suspension. These things are currently made for every Harley family out there. Sporty, Dyna, Touring, Softail, you guys are all covered, even you V-Rod fellas. Installation on this is a 3-bearder on our BSD, our beard scale of difficulty. Now even though it rings in at 3 beards, don't run away just yet. It's a lot of work, but it's not terribly difficult. And if you can take a project and take it down into bite-sized chunks, you should be able to get this on your bike at home with a minimum of special tools. Air suspension is, as I said, the king of the heap in terms of suspension. Reason being is that there are no coils. Coils in a traditional shock really are the shortcoming in suspension. Because those coils are made from a certain thickness of wire, they're able to deal with a pretty narrow weight range. So that you can tune a suspension for various things. However, a lot of us are riding in ways where we need a little more adjustability. I'm thinking right now specifically of you sporty Dyna V-Rod guys. You guys are typically hard chargers. You're riding the bikes hard and fast. You want to be able to change up your suspension based on varying road conditions. When I consider you Softail fellas, you should be looking at air suspension for a little different reason. Let's be honest, the rear end of a Softail is kind of a compromise insofar as suspension travel. You just don't have that much. However, Legends Air Ride kits can actually double your stock suspension, how much it can actually move. That really catapults the Softail into the realm of a bike with a realistic, real-world suspension. And then you folks on touring bikes, those of you guys may have a different setup during the week versus weekends. Maybe during the week, you take the tour pack off, you zip around, just you heading to work and heading home, but then on the weekend, you load up your favorite passenger, you load up with your camping gear. That might be the difference between, maybe 400 pounds worth of stuff, depending exactly on how you're packing and how much you and your passenger weigh. So you really want to have, again, a suspension that can deal with a number of situations, and air suspension really is the key to that. Short of having several sets of coil shocks, which nobody's going to do, an air suspension lets you adjust things sort of on the go. Let's get the nuts and bolts down of these, and then we'll kind of talk about the difference between the kits and exactly what might work for you. These things are made hard anodized aluminum bodies. They are super, super durable. The machinery they make these things on is very, very impressive. You'll notice here there are not rubber shock bushings like standard Harley shocks. They actually use spherical rod bushings in here. It allows lateral play without any up and down movement. They don't wear out the same way that rubber shocks do. It's a really high quality touch on these particular shocks. Construction-wise too, you're going to notice there's also airline fittings here. If you have a factory air bike, like the touring bike you can see over here, you'll notice we actually use the factory airline. So it really does make the bolt-in easy. You're not having to run a whole bunch of stuff. You can actually use your factory airlines if you have them on the bike. Kit-wise, you're looking at a couple different options. The first entry level into the air suspension market with Legend is their HVG kit. Now you're going to see here, we have one installed on this Street Glide. And again, you do have the air shock here. You do have the adjustability. The way they save you a couple bucks is by making sure that adjustability is manual. So they provide you with this really cool pump. Doubles well as a tire pump if you should need one, which is kind of a nice thing to throw in the saddlebag. Comes in this neoprene bag, and this thing is going to let you adjust your suspension just like the more expensive models. The only difference is, again, as I said, you're going to be doing it manually. So you are going to have to actually pop off a bag in order to get to your suspension, to the factory Schrader valve, and you're going to have to do this thing by hand. It's going to take a little bit. It's not impossible, but again, you can wear your arms out. If you're trying to go up and down very frequently in a small space of time, the HVG kit might not be the best way to go. But if you are looking for air adjustability and you want to get in there without breaking the bank, this is the way you want to go for things. The nice part about the HVG kit is it can later be upgraded. You can go get an onboard compressor. You can bring it up to the snuff of the more expensive kits. So if you don't want one big dent in your wallet all at the same time, HVG is the way to go. These are made for touring bikes. Sliding up the food chain, you have the Aero. The standard Aero is an air system just like the HVG, but you have the addition of an onboard compressor. These are actually vehicle specific. They mount to the bike. Once these are wired up, what they let you do is adjust on the fly. When you're actually on the road, you can adjust the height of your bike, either raise it or drop it. And you're going to do that by means of this switch, which is actually included. This becomes part of your clutch perch. So this gets you, again, that adjustment you can do while you're actually on the road. If you want something a little bit more adjustable, you can go to the Aero-A, and notice the Aero-A has rebound adjustment. Rebound adjustment basically affects how fast a shock returns to its uncompressed length. This will allow you to adjust how fast that shock basically snaps back to its standard position. So it's just one more measure of adjustability that you can get out of the kit. So one of the other things I love about the Aero-A kits is that you can also get a gauge to install in your fairing. Looks very similar to a factory gauge, blends right in, doesn't stick out at all. I personally find the ambient air temperature gauge on modern day baggers to be next to useless. It's inaccurate, and I usually know about how hot it is out there. So that would be my recommendation, is drop that. If you decide you want that gauge, you can pop that in. The gauge is helpful because it allows you a measure of repeatability. So if you find out that you maybe like a particular setting when you're 2 up and you like maybe a different setting when you're riding around town, scooting around by yourself, you can have those numbers just sort of in the back of your head and you can adjust real quickly, but you can always go right to that number instead of a trial and error sort of a procedure. It's really a nice way to make sure that the air kit works in well with your routine and doesn't wind up dominating how you ride the bike. Of course, ride height is also affected as well. The really cool part about having one of these kits, most especially the Aero-A kit, is that when you're outside the bar and you want your bike to look cool, you can definitely hit that switch and drop the whole tail end of the bike right down. You can lay that thing right down on the stops and your bike is going to look super, super low. Instead of riding around a slam bike like that, as some of you probably have done, as I have done, and dealing with the consequences of clicking your teeth every time you hit a pebble in the road, you can just bring that back up to regular ride height when you're ready to go, and the thing is going to ride as beautifully as the day you bought it. So we talked about installation. That's the elephant in the room. It is a 3-bearder. However, you shouldn't be scared of this job. If you're a halfway decent wrench, putting these on shouldn't be killer. The reason we call it a 3, there's a couple reasons for it. Firstly, installation-wise, you do have to get the rear of the bike up in the air. That's going to mean you need a bike jack or you need a buddy to help you lift it up so you can get something underneath the frame. You do need to get the bike up, so that's going to require a little special equipment there. There's a little bit of wiring you have to do, and there's also some mechanical stuff you're going to have to do to actually physically install them on the bike. But the first step in your installation process should be a stop at the directions. Now I'm calling these out specifically. Most of the products we sell have directions, but these are full color, really nicely written directions. They're going to tell you everything you need to know about the job. But let me give you the quick summation so you know what you're looking at before you even have to order one of these and get your hands on the box. First things, you're going to put the shocks actually onto the bike. You can see we did this here on our Street Glide. Now, I'm kind of I'm a little all thumbs. We had our cameraman here too, and he's sort of taking some shots, and even with all the flubs that I had, we still were able to get the HVG kit on the bike in well under 2 hours. So most of you guys should be able to do this pretty easily. You're going to install the shocks themselves, then you're going to install the compressor. The compressor is model specific, so these aren't just some sort of make it fit sort of thing where you have to fabricate a way to go. These are going to bolt right up to your bike. Use our bike finder, you're going to get in there, and the kit we're going to send you is specifically for your bike. It's going to fit. Wiring wise, you're going to wind up getting power off of your battery or another fused circuit. The wiring is all included with this. You can see here this stuff, these all have Deutsch connectors on the ends. These are very specific. If you can hook up a PC, you can hook up all the wiring for this. It's not difficult. There's just a lot of stuff that has to happen all at one shot. The most difficult part of the process is hiding all the wiring. You want it to look nice, so you may have to disassemble a fair portion of the bike in order to get all your wiring run and make this look good on your motorcycle. But as I said earlier, it's a manageable project. As long as you can break everything down into smaller steps, you may need to take a break, walk away, that's fine. It's not hard to do, but again, you should realize this is not a first-timer project. I think air suspension really is the top of the heap. As I said earlier, this is the best you can put on your bike, and Legend is the best of the best. This is the cream of the crop stuff. Don't take my word for it though. Click below, see what some other riders have to say about Legend's products that they're using on their bikes. If you have a question that we didn't get to today, give me a holler. See us at RevZilla.com, or you can always get a Gear Geek. 877-792-9455 will get you one on the phone. I'm Lemmy, I'm out of here.